Hello everyone, I'm attorney Nathan Hauser. How long will your workers' compensation case take? On average, from a few months to a few years. The biggest factors that can affect the length of a case are if the case is accepted by the insurance company, the seriousness of the injury, the amount of treatment and type of treatment required for the doctors to release you from care, and if you need to be evaluated by multiple medical specialists. Accepted cases. When a case is accepted by the insurance, that means that the insurance agrees that at least part of your injury was work-related. An accepted case will generally move faster towards settlement because we don't actually have to prove that the injury happened, but we may need to prove that there was an injury to disputed body parts or body systems. In accepted cases, we usually need to designate a doctor within the insurance provider's network. That doctor will request the medical treatment, and hopefully the treatment will be approved. Depending on the severity of the injury, the treatment can take from a few months to sometimes a few years. Obviously, if an injury only takes a couple of sessions of physical therapy to reach maximum medical improvement, that type of case will settle much more quickly than others. When an accepted injury is more severe, sometimes conservative treatment is not successful, and the more serious treatment options need to be considered. Most providers will try to exhaust conservative treatment measures like therapies before invasive treatment like injections or surgery are considered. That will obviously impact the time it takes to settle the case because you have to consider the treatment after the surgery, and in some very complicated cases, multiple surgeries. And if surgery is required and the surgery takes place, that'll obviously impact the time it takes for the case to settle because the period of treatment will also involve treatment following the surgery. But it's important to know that an injured worker does not need to have a surgery even if the doctor recommends it. When a doctor in an accepted case determines that the injured worker has reached maximum medical improvement or that the worker has decided that they don't want to have a certain procedure done, the doctor will assign a permanent disability percentage to the injured worker and will write a final report that describes what medical care will be necessary for the injured worker in the future. If the doctor writes a fair report and the insurance agrees with that doctor's opinion about the level of disability and the type of medical care necessary in the future, that will give us an opportunity to settle your case at that time. However, if the insurance disagrees with that doctor's report, or we disagree with that doctor's report for one reason or another, then you may need to see a QME state doctor for a second opinion or a neutral doctor called an AME, agreed medical evaluator. It can take a few weeks to a few months for the QME doctor to be assigned and then a few more months for the doctor to schedule the appointment. And after the appointment, the doctor has 30 days to write his initial report. If the QME requests additional records or information, they'll have 60 days to write a supplemental report after they receive the requested records or studies. When a QME or AME evaluation is done and those doctors' reports have been completed, depending on the doctor's opinions, that will give us another opportunity to either settle the case or to set the case for trial. There are many other factors that can drag out the length of a case, even if the case is accepted. And that includes if you need to be evaluated by multiple doctors in different specialties, whether those doctors require studies to be performed, or if they need to review additional medical reports, or if the doctors need to have their depositions taken about the conclusions in their reports. All of these things can affect the length of a case. Denied cases. When a case is denied, we will need to elect a doctor outside of the insurance network who will provide treatment on a lien basis, which means that the doctor is not being paid actively by the insurance, and the type of treatment that you receive is usually limited. In denied cases, the injured worker will usually be evaluated by a second opinion QME state doctor, and that doctor will review the reports of the out-of-network doctor and will write a report either agreeing or disagreeing with the treating doctor's opinions. In a denied case, if the QME doctor agrees that there was a work injury and that additional treatment is necessary, the case may need to go to trial just to receive the additional treatment. This can sometimes seem like the case is starting all over again. In both accepted and denied cases, if a QME doctor requests that the injured worker be seen by another specialist, another QME, sometimes the injured worker will need to have additional evaluations, and those appointments can take months to schedule, and again, the reports can take months to be received. These are all factors that can affect the length of time that it takes to settle a workers' compensation case. There are some instances where a case may need to be settled earlier than others. Sometimes this occurs because the injured worker simply cannot make ends meet with the rate that they're being paid for temporary disability. Sometimes the injured worker simply does not want to go through with or wait for additional evaluations or additional reports to be written by QME doctors. QME doctors are permitted 60 days to issue additional reports, even if we ask them to respond to a single question or clarify something in their report. I prefer that a case settles after all final reports have been received by the reporting doctors in the case, but sometimes that's just not an option. In an accepted case, an early settlement will usually have a greater value than in a denied case because the insurance company is already paying benefits and they're already paying for medical treatment. And the insurance company definitely wants to eliminate the risk of further liability as soon as possible. In denied cases, disability benefits and medical treatment are not actively being paid for by the insurance, and as a result, the insurance carrier has less of an incentive to offer a considerable settlement amount early on in the case. That is not to say that accepted cases have greater value than denied cases, because a denied case can go to trial and become an accepted case and become a very expensive liability for the insurance company. However, early settlement offers are generally lower for denied cases unless unique circumstances are present. If you just open a workers' compensation claim and you want your case to be handled by an aggressive attorney, call or text the number on the screen. We'll be happy to give you an evaluation of your case completely free. I'm attorney Nathan Hauser, and I hope to hear from you soon.